What's up, guys? Who wants a free $50 lure bag? I'm going to show you exactly how to get it, all right? So stick around. First, we're going to talk about dolphin, big dolphin. That's the key. How do you find and fool these big dolphin? Look, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of dolphin out there right now, a lot of schoolies, countless fish. Most of them are in that 20 to 24 inch class. Every now and then there's a gaffer. Somebody gets lucky, there's 100 boats out there fishing. Somebody's gonna catch a nice fish. But how do you weed through all of those small ones to get to the big ones, And I'll tell you what, if you're looking for quantity, if you're looking for a quantity of bites and the most action possible, then this seminar probably isn't for you, okay? Because this is more about quality. I want to share with you my logic of going out there and how we find and fool these bigger dolphin, all right? And we're going to talk about tackle. We're going to talk about the rods. We're going to talk about the reels, the line, the leaders, hook size, and most importantly, lure selection, okay? That's what all of this is going to boil down to. Because remember, look, we're going to take the artificial approach, right? A lot of guys go out there, they fish for dolphin, live bait, of course, incredibly effective. Dragging natural ballyhoo, killer tactic, all of those. But that doesn't help you find and fool bigger fish. I'm going to tell you that right now. That helps you find a lot of fish. And again, that's not what we're looking for. I want to go out there and weed through all of those, or let me rephrase what I'm saying. I don't want to go out there and weed through all of those little dinky peanuts and rats and schoolies. It just doesn't excite me anymore, Doesn't interest me. I really want the bigger fish. So look, historically, what do? We go out, we troll a bait. Here's just probably one of the most popular and most effective dolphin lures ever created. You can get these at Marathon Bait and Tackle. It's just a small little chugger, nothing super fancy. It's about a 5 or 6 inch bait. This isn't a promotion for this. Just understand what I'm saying to you here. But it's a typical trolling lure. It's typical of what somebody would pull down here in the Florida Keys. All of the charter boats fish them. A lot of the visiting anglers fish them. It's a no-brainer. You throw it behind a boat, you're going to get bit. That's the bottom line. If there's a dolphin within 5 country miles, he's going to see it and eat it. Great. We fish it on a relatively light rod because it's a very light lure, right? Super light. So a Chaos KC 15 to 30 pound class, 7-foot conventional rod. It's matched to a Talica 12 loaded in 20-pound diamond line. The high vis, orange crush, so it's easy to see. That's the outfit that we would use. Look, there's another one right there, okay? This is the outfit that we would use in the class of tackle to pull a typical dolphin lure like that. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna stay connected all day long. There's no question. We're gonna get bit, and bit. But once again, my logic is, look, I gotta beef it up, all right? I gotta beef up the size of my gear. I gotta beef up my presentation because I'm looking for bigger bites. So what's the first thing that I did is I went from this, okay, and then I went to the Zack Attack series lures, which are absolutely my favorite offshore lures on the bigger size, but I kind of discounted the smalls and the extra smalls, and then I went, wait a minute, what I've been looking for is right at my fingertips, or so I thought. But nevertheless, I've gone to these smalls. Look at this bait. This is a 6 to 8 inch bait, and it's certainly a larger bait than this bait, right? Clearly, it's at least twice the diameter. It's longer, it's wider. It's gonna create a lot more turbulence in the water. It's gonna require heavier tackle, regardless if it's this particular lure, another one that's similar to it, another one that's similar to it. Look, you see what I'm saying? These are all the Zack Attack smalls and the extra smalls right here. These are actually the extra small lures. This one's a small, okay? Either way, we're talking about a bait with a little bit of a larger profile, and I thought, hey, I can go out there and I could weed through the small fish and attract bigger bites, right? I beefed up my tackle a bit. All right, I went to a Chaos 30 to 50 pound, 6-foot stand-up outfit. Still light, a lot of fun, but much more appropriate for pulling a bait this size, right? Or here it is, there's another one right there. Okay, much more appropriate. 30 pound diamond line in the high vis and the orange crush. So you can see I beefed up the tackle, right? It's about balance. In order to get these baits to track properly, it's not just about the lure, it's the line, it's the leader, it's the rod, it's the reel, it's everything. It's all about balance. So I beefed everything up. And look, I went out and I said, I got this. And let me tell you something, I did. I caught a lot of dolphin, a lot, but they were all small, okay? They were all small. Again, what was happening were these schoolies were devouring even a bait that's this size. This is not a big bait for a dolphin, all right? A 5-pound dolphin, a 3-pound dolphin could eat that bait right there easily. And even though it's substantially larger than that bait right there, hopefully I don't mess up the focus and the zoom there, it's substantially larger than that bait. Look at both of them, okay? You can clearly see that. But it's still, it didn't help me achieve the goal that I was looking for, okay? And then I realized, you know what? Look, here's the ticket. The ticket to big dolphin. Who catches the biggest dolphin in the world? Think about it. Who? I've been to Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, Guatemala, anywhere there's big dolphin, all right? I've been there. I've learned a lot about dolphin fishing, not only, of course, throughout the Pacific, but obviously here in the Atlantic, in the Bahamas. And I'm gonna tell you who catches the biggest dolphin. Not the guys that are dolphin fishing, the guys that are marlin fishing. They catch the biggest dolphin. Why? Because their baits are the schoolie dolphin. And what eats a schoolie dolphin? Only two things, blue marlin or a big dolphin. Okay, big dolphin, love juvenile dolphins. So I realized I'm not fishing big enough. I've got to go to the Zacatec's in the mediums in a much larger bait right there. Okay, and this really was just reinforced recently when I'm at the fillet table at the Boat Outfitters Ultimate Fillet Table. Maybe you saw this post on Instagram recently. And I'm filleting like, I don't know, it's not a big dolphin. He's not even double digits, you know, 7, 8 pounds, something like that. Maybe even a little less. And there's something in his belly, right? And I'm constantly inspecting what's in their bellies. And I pull out a dolphin, a 12-inch dolphin. And it really, the light bulb just went off again and said, look, here's a larger dolphin, a fish that's not even 10 pounds, and he's eating 12-inch dolphin. All right, think about that for a moment. So to really find and fool those larger fish, you've got to fish bigger baits, okay? Not only is it going to tempt larger fish, but more importantly, it's going to avoid a lot of the small fish. And remember what I said at the beginning of this, if you're looking for a high number of bites, this isn't the logic, this isn't the tactic, this isn't the focus you should have. Me, on the other hand, I'm looking for the right bites. I would rather go out there and troll for dolphin all day long and get 1 or 2 bites, as long as they were the right 1 or 2 bites, okay, of bigger fish. And if I'm spending all day unhooking little 20-inch schoolies, you know, 20, 24-inch schoolies, even on these extra small size Zacatec's, I don't have enough time to cover ground. The big dolphin, you know, they're not everywhere. They're not, right? So my logic is, look, I got to cover ground. I got to cover miles. The more miles on the water that I cover, the more likely I am going to come across the right fish. And if I'm fishing larger baits, the Zacatec mediums, these are like 12-inch baits, right? Look at these. Tell me that's not a bonita. Tell me that's not a blackfin just cruising right through the water. These Zacatecs have incredible action. If you've seen the underwater footage, these are proven head designs that go back farther than you even realize. And I'm telling you what, these lures are unlike anything you've seen, especially the Thunderstruck right there with that weird kind of shaped head. This thing is alive. After I saw these myself with my own eyes, what they look like tracking below the surface, I said, I'll never fish another trolling lure, okay? Because this is better than the real thing. It doesn't wash out. I can pull it at 10 knots easily, at 10 miles an hour, excuse me, and cover a lot of ground and have a beautiful presentation of 5 lures behind a boat. 5, that's all that you need. You don't need more than 5 baits in the water, okay? Not when you're targeting these big fish. So look, that's my logic. But again, I had to beef up the tackle, right, to pull those. So I went to either really two different outfits that I'm going to be fishing in different positions. First is a 50 to 100 pound class, 6-foot Chaos Gold stand-up rod. Awesome rod, beefier. I'm fishing a bigger bait. It's matched to a Tiagra 20, all right, loaded in 50-pound diamond line. All right, ton of backing on there, country mile of backing, so I can handle a bigger fish, but still really comfortable. And with the Winthrop adjustable butt right there, look at that. We can go straight butt, we can go bent butt, fishing it out of a rod holder, get a fish on, fight them out of a belt, straight butt. Really a nice feature. Those Winthrop butts are just priceless on our big game outfits. So here, this is an ideal setup. However, you know, look, when I'm out there looking for big dolphin, what's the bycatch? What's going to be the bycatch when you're offshore 20 to 30 miles? You're fishing big baits, okay? Big baits. You're looking for big bites. What's going to be the bycatch of big dolphin? Blue marlin. That's right. And look, it's an untapped fishery down here. I'm going to blow it up, all right? I'm really going to do my best to develop this. I'm super excited about it, all right, to go out there and focus on these larger bowls with the potential for a blue marlin. All right, there's fish down here 250 to 400 pounds. I think a lot more than you realize, but everybody's so busy dealing with the little peanuts. Everybody wants to put meat in the box, whatever it is. Nobody's out there, you know, focusing on these bigger fish up until now. But again, with a blue marlin, look, I've caught a lot of blue marlin in a lot of places, and this is no joke. This is not, you know, anything to take for granted. A 200, 250, 350, 400-pound blue marlin is an absolute beast of a fish, a beast. This thing is going to smoke you on inadequate tackle. If you think I'm fishing gear that's too heavy, you're sadly mistaken. So we've gone from the 20s. We also beefed it up to a set of 30 wides. These are our Wahoo outfits on the Rodzillas. Chaos Rodzilla, 60 to 130. The Winthrop butt, there it is again, okay? Diamond line in the high-vis chartreuse, 80-pound, right? You see where I'm going with this? So I've got a set of 80-pound Top Shot monofilament on here, loaded in braid down below, so I don't care how big the fish is, I'm never getting spooled, okay? Great outfit. Again, light, really light. And with that bent butt right out of the rod holder, hook a fish right in a fighting belt, fight him standing up like a real man. Okay, and I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a bad way. Obviously, in these scenarios on the center consoles, you hook a blue marlin, that's how you fight them. Okay, obviously, if you're tournament fishing and looking for fish that are 6, 8, you know, granders, it's chair fishing the entire time, no question. So we've beefed it all up right here. Okay, the tackle, the line, the leaders, the lures, but none of this means anything if the fish aren't there, right? So a whole other part of all of this is making sure you fish in the right place at the right time, all right? Remember, stop thinking dolphin, start thinking blue marlin, okay? And when you start to put the pieces together and you realize where would you likely be to encounter blue marlin, that's where you're going to find the biggest bull dolphin, I guarantee it. And by being ready for it, by fishing the right Zack Attack baits in the mediums, maybe even the larges, okay, you're going to have opportunities at fish of a lifetime that you would never otherwise even see. So that's my logic, and I'm doing it, and I'll certainly keep you up to date. Guys, remember what I said at the beginning of this. Free $50 lure bag. Hop on to Zack Attack Lures right now, okay? Purchase any lure pack. They made it easy. They put together these lure packs. 5 lures, cover the spread, okay? And they've taken the decision-making out of the equation. They've put the 5 best baits in that particular species-specific package together for anglers. And for a limited time, members of Florida Sport Fishing TV, viewers on our YouTube channel, followers on our Instagram page, guys, hop on there, Zack Attack Lures, purchase a lure pack, and automatically, like magic, or I'm sorry, purchase a lure pack, and like magic, a lure bag will populate your shopping cart. 50 bucks, no charge to you. All right, really cool deal. And I promise you, You're gonna catch more fish, you're gonna catch bigger fish. If you're just looking for those schoolies, I'm not the guy and this isn't the place, but if you're looking for the fish of a lifetime, you've come to the right place.